Hey Frugivore, welcome back to the Frugivore Diet channel. I'm Freelee and I am wet at the moment. I looked on the calendar, it's actually been around 14 days since we've seen the sun. It's been raining that whole time, just with maybe half an hour space here and there, but just so monsoony. So as far as solar power goes, we're on our last bit of battery reserve, and we just have the freezer on at the moment because the durian is in there, and there's no way we are letting that durian defrost. It is far too valuable, so nothing else at all is on except the freezer. And when I need to upload a video, we turn off the freezer, I quickly upload, then we turn the freezer back on, everything else goes off. So it's certainly an experience, monsoon season in the jungle, off grid, but this is a life that I want to live, and this is just, it's so powerful. Like, I love the energy at this time of year, and the fact that the rain is just nourishing all the plants. I love it so much, and I can see fruit coming. So, it's all worth it at the end of the day, but I just wanted to give you a bit of an insight into off-grid life in the jungle. I'm certainly ready for sun by this point, though. I'm ready to see sunshine. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to show you how I make sauerkraut, and I'm by no means an expert at it, but the result is great. I've been doing it for, a bit over a year, and we don't feel badly from it or anything. It's it's a great addition to the Frugivore diet at this point. Maybe in the future we won't include it when we get better quality fruit, but at this point we do enjoy it with nori rolls, salads, that sort of thing. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. It's very simple, and hang around to the end of the video where I show you some raw food recipe ideas with sauerkraut. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, so this is a device that I use to chop up the cabbage. This is my Salad Master, which I found secondhand on Gumtree.com. It's awesome, high quality, chrome I believe. It's amazing. It doesn't make a lot of noise or anything like that. It's one of the best buys I've made. Not sponsored, by the way. So I use seawater, salt water from the ocean in my sauerkraut. Got all those trace minerals in there, but you can just use sea salt diluted with water. I've got cabbage there. The outside is looking a little bit manky there. Don't put the manky bit in. Put in the fresh stuff. You don't want to put old ingredients in, and you want it all to be very clean. I've got some turmeric, garlic greens, chili, ginger from the garden. I don't put too much turmeric in, but I'm just experimenting with that. And then it's time to cut up the cabbage, and you can just decide on the consistency that you want. If you want it thicker, thinner, smaller chunks, whatever, it's up to you. But I like it kind of like medium kind of chunks, which I'll show you in a moment. So one cabbage usually makes around 3 or 4 mason jars worth of sauerkraut. It just depends on how big the container is. And yeah, I just do it all in one go. And with this Salad Master, it's really quick. As you can see, it's a really quick process. And yeah, it doesn't require any power. Only your power. So there it all is, a bit of a chunky style. It depends how you like it. You can make it finer, like I said. And there's the blades for the Salad Master, which are really cool. By the way, I'm really not sponsored, but just really in love with this machine. It comes with various blades. It's just a little bit difficult to find them. Okay, so now it's time to fill the mason jar with your cabbage. And I've already put some ginger in the bottom, some garlic greens, some chili. So just layer it how you want to. Hey, just chuck it in. That's what I do, and it works out great. And just on a side note, I like to put in whole jalapenos usually, but we didn't have any, so you might want to try that. It gives a nice bit of a kick, and they're not too chilly. I find that the heat is quite good, so you just put 4 of those in there as well and mix it with the cabbage, and the end result is some spicy sauerkraut, which is really quite pleasant. So it's important that you pack in as much cabbage as you can. Pack it down. You want it to be not too close to the top, so you want to pack it down firmly. And as you can see, I'm using my hand. It is clean. This is the way I do it, and I'm probably adding a little bit more lactobacillus, but just make sure that your hand is clean, or you might just want to use a utensil instead. But anything nasty is likely going to be killed in the fermentation process. Again, this is just how I do it, and we've never had a problem. You can look up other fermentation videos on YouTube if you want for more information. Okay, so I'm just layering on some more ginger, some more garlic greens, and now I'm putting salt water, about half the jar salt water, and then I add just normal water on top so it's not too salty. So you don't want to fill the jar up too high. You want to have about a gap of about 6 centimeters or so at the top, just so once the fermentation process is happening, the gases are going to rise, and you don't want it to all come out of the lid. You don't want it to all just like spill out everywhere. So as you can see there, I was stuffing down a cabbage leaf. It's important to keep everything in the brine that you want fermented. You don't want it floating up and escaping, so you want it to be submerged in the water, and I'm using like a glass weight on the top. You don't have to use that. You can just use a cabbage leaf if you can kind of jam it down there and keep everything below the water, in the water there. That's important if you want it to ferment, because anything that is left out in the oxygen will likely mold up a bit, and you can remove that. It's a little bit, you might have to throw the mixture out. You just have to use your nose, do a little bit more research, but usually it's fine for me. I don't have to throw anything out because I've got everything, beneath the water, in submerged in the water. I've also got these special lids which allow the gases to release. You can just screw the lid on and you don't have to worry about it spilling over everywhere, but you don't have to have these fancy lids or the fancy weight. You can do it the other way. I was doing it before that with just a normal lid. Just don't screw it too tightly, and put a container underneath because it's going to overflow as the gases come up. So you just don't put the lid on tight and allow the gases to escape and let the cabbage ferment. So a few important things to remember is to use fresh produce that is clean, and to leave a gap at the top. As you can see, leave that gap or else it'll overflow everywhere. But at the same time, you can fill it up if you have a container underneath to catch the overflow. You can do it that way, and don't screw it on too tight. Don't screw that lid on tight. Let the gases escape if you're not using one of these self-gassing lids like I am. And make sure everything is submerged in the water, so nothing is, see how you can see there's nothing floating on top. That is ideal. And as you can see from this batch, I have got a few floaties on top because the cabbage they're just some smaller chunks, but it still seems to be fine. It still seems to be no problem, and you can just skim them off at the end if you have to, but it is ideal that you submerge everything, so it's not kind of floating like that, but I don't have a problem. So yeah, that's how I do it. Then I will put them in a fully dark place, like in the cupboard or something like that, for maybe, it depends, as long as it takes in your climate. It takes me about maybe sometimes 3 days, 3-4 days when it's warm. And then I use it in the dinner, as you can see there, in the salad. It's great with nori rolls as well. That's a real winner, gives that bit of a sour edge. It kind of goes just about with anything. It is really tasty in stuffed tomatoes as well, as you can see here, and 2-minute noodles I call it, but they're actually raw living food. Another salad. Yeah, there's like a lot of ways you can use sauerkraut, and I definitely only use it as a condiment. I only use about maybe a tablespoon and a half at a time, because as always, the main goal is to go fruit yourself. So definitely go do that today and enjoy your sauerkraut on the side, but focus on the sweet fruits, because they are the ones that are going to give you the energy, make you feel your best, look your best, and give you the vitality to take on this meaty world.